Hey everyone, welcome to the Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the weight loss benefits of walking, and they are numerous. Before I go into them, I want to explain why they're so important and help you to understand why they're so important. And the secret is to not just look at calories. Don't just look at calories when you're evaluating walking as a benefit to your weight loss, because it's really the holistic kind of peripheral benefits you get that are a lot of times more important than the calories burned, because the calorie burned really are somewhat negligible, although they're more than zero. But it's a lot of the other benefits. So again, we obviously start with the calories burned, though. It is something. So, when you go from sitting to walking, there's a big difference there calorie wise, and you're using more energy and you are burning more calories. So that part's good. But again, it is the extra things that I think are way more beneficial. And the biggest one of all, I'll start with the biggest one, is that it changes your self-image. It starts to make you feel, behave, and think like a more active person. And that's what I love so much about it. When you can start walking, and it doesn't even matter how long you walk. This is why I say almost we want to make the calorie part off to the side. It's almost like a side effect benefit. And we want to focus on the other benefits we get out of it. And I think the biggest one of all is walking is pretty easy to implement as a ritual, routine, habit into your life. And the secret to doing that is to not start off too strong, right? To not just be thinking calories, oh, I got to walk 5 miles for it to be worth anything. No, 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 no. Even if you walk around the block, again, it's not about the calories burned. It's about the fact that that was pretty easy. And because it's easy, now you actually shift your mind into not focusing on how difficult it is and how you have to do it and force yourself to do it. But now it becomes easy and it becomes something you want to do. But it's something you want to do that makes you feel good. Because when you start walking, even if it's just around the block, what ends up happening is you get out in the fresh air, you get in the sun, you get in the moonlight, whenever you go, you see the trees, you hear the birds, you get out in nature, and that makes us feel better. Typically, we start to calm down, we relax, we breathe more deeply, we feel better. And so that alone is worth it because we feel better. But then again, what ends up happening is we start to do it consistently, is it starts to make us feel like a better version of ourselves. A big mistake dieters make a lot of times is they do everything all at once. So they start eating better, working out, counting their calories, eating perfect, all this stuff. What we want to do is actually start to weave together behaviors that we can do forever. So instead of trying to do 10 things all at once, let's focus on 1 or 2 easy things to do and start to implement into our normal routine so they start to become automatic. So walking is so great for this because, again, even if it's just a walk around the block after dinner, what happens is it starts to anchor in your mind this new healthy habit. And it starts to change your self-image into that of someone who does something more active. And for a lot of people, you're starting from zero. It's not unusual to start from no working out at all, not much movement at all, to even just walking. And so again, we want to start slow. People start too fast a lot of times. They hurt themselves. They dread it. They don't want to do it. And it makes it hard to keep it up, obviously. So again, the big benefits of walking really are the self-image piece and the fact that it makes you feel better. It changes the way you think about yourself, and it does change your routine a bit. Even if you, again, whenever you decide to do it, if you take a walk after dinner, you might find that it impacts your nighttime snacking naturally. And so start to pay attention to some of the kind of peripheral collateral benefits of walking, because there's a lot of them, and enjoy the process. That's the main thing. Start to enjoy something and make it easy that also kind of supports your weight loss and your better eating choices. So again, take a walk today and see if this is true or not for you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll get to them. Enough talking about walking. What's up, Connie? How's it going? All day removals. How's it going? How goes the diet? Big Monday coming up. You excited? How's that affecting the weekend? Is the weekend hard for you to do the OMAD? Is every day easy for you? How's all that going? I think about you, I think about that this morning. I was thinking, I don't get a lot of people on here, most people kind of like, yeah, diet is not really working. So it's like, I actually like that you're doing this. I find it very interesting. And so I would love if you keep me up to date on how it's going. And again, I do wish you the best with it. Trisha says, I've been listening to the free session almost every day, and I believe it's making a difference. That's great, Trisha. Yeah, it will make a difference. Um, but again, I always want to make clear, I was talking about this yesterday, that the thing with hypnosis is I think it's overstated a lot. I think that people make claims that aren't really true. I think hypnosis is great, and I think it's very powerful, but not necessarily in the way that it's kind of out there in the world. I don't think you can just listen to one session and that changed you into a thin person. I don't believe that. I do believe it's a wonderful support. I think it's probably one of the best supporting pieces you can put into your weight loss journey is having hypnosis there. So I'm really glad you're enjoying that session and listening to it. But again, understand that if you kind of listen to it and you're feeling like better and you're feeling good, and then it starts to fade a little bit, that happens too, because if you listen to just one session, it starts to have, again, typically it kind of has a temporary effect. I don't mean to say that as a negative suggestion, but sometimes it happens. But I'm glad it's helping you now. And what's more important though than even the session is to make sure you watch that video I sent you too. Okay. And do the motivation challenge. That's another one as well. Do both of those as well, in addition to the hypnosis session. But great job taking action, Trisha. Great job listening to that. And if you like the sessions, by the way, again, then you may want to consider the Program Yourself Thin program, because in that program, every day for 8 weeks, you get a brand new 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning. And each week you get a new sleep hypnosis session to listen to at night. You get a self-hypnosis library that has over 25 sessions in it, and you get the whole program. So something to consider. I thought I saw a long question. No, maybe not. Hey, Sarah, happy Friday to you. Yes, Friday. I know this has been a little bit of a stressful Friday. We lost, I didn't have my internet. I literally just got it back, and it is good because I didn't know if I was going to go live today because I couldn't do anything and I couldn't really work. It's funny. It just kind of threw things off. Yeah, Trisha says I watched it a few times now. Very good. Great job, Trisha. Great job taking action. Nice. Always impressed by people that take action. Dieting Diva says, I know you need an exercise you enjoy. For me, I enjoy going to the gym and being around people. Yeah, that's super. And again, that's why my core philosophy is that there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. And I love that philosophy so much because it really highlights that nothing matters if you like you could have the best workout in the world. You could have the best diet plan on the planet, scientifically proven diet plan. But if you don't like it and you don't do it, then you ain't gonna, who cares, So it's so important to figure out exercises you actually enjoy doing. And that's why I say walking is really at the top of the list, because it's such a natural movement. And when we walk outside as well, we get so many other benefits to it. But yeah, if you like going to the gym too, again, if you're a social person, you like being around people, you like doing that kind of working out, super, and consequently, if you hate going to the gym, you don't have to go to the gym, and I think having that freedom is so important because you build your strategies around what work for you. And I find so often with dieting, people are really trying to kind of fit a square peg in a round hole. You're trying to force yourself to do things that you don't really want to do. And so it always feels like a struggle. So I think you're better off taking that energy instead of trying to force yourself to do something you don't want to do. I think you're better off using that energy to find things you do actually like to do and start to kind of automate them and to ritualize them, Dan, probably date black guys. I keep freezing. I'm not even surprised. My microphone's cracking. Yeah, they know that's probably part of the internet thing. Oh, you know what it is? Holy cow. Holy macaroni. All right. Yeah. We should be getting better now. Thank you guys for letting me know that, because it should get better. Let me know if it gets better, because I realize what happened now. I can't believe this was even working. Is it still cracking, Astrid? Or is it all better? It should be. It might take me a second. Audio and lagging issues today. That's because I was not on Wi-Fi. Yeah, something's still wonky. Yeah, it could still be wonky. That could be the case. Oh, it's better. Yeah, I think it'll get better now. I had turned the Wi-Fi off. Yeah, okay, the static seems gone now. Yeah, I had turned my Wi-Fi off, and so I was just off a cellular, and I can't even believe I was able to do this off a cellular, but not very well though, right? So, anyways, we're better now. So, yeah, I don't know. Some comments are funny. I don't get the fun. I used to get more kind of dipshits on here. And I don't know. I haven't really gotten that lately. I don't know what's going on. I kind of enjoy it sometimes, but I remember the very first live I ever did. I remember I had someone like a straight up dipshit, and I was like, oh my God, is this how it's always going to go? I kind of enjoyed it. I don't mind doing that, but it was funny. I literally have never had that again. Like that type of person who was just being a kind of a troll or whatever, but it's funny like that. I think to myself, I wonder, like, cause I don't know, they're going to ban TikTok or whatever. So I will, anti-socialite. Am I requesting jackassery? Cause I'll deliver. That's funny. I guess I'm not requesting it. Sometimes it just comes my way. I do get it. I do get people saying dumb shit for sure, but this person was like a straight up troll, but it was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. At least I got in there for a few minutes. But yeah, I think the internet's wonky today. So hopefully, let me know if it breaks up again and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if TikTok goes away, I don't know where I'll do the lives. So well, hopefully, yeah, freezing again. Yeah, I think the internet. I should have. I hopped on like as soon as it was working because I just wanted to hop on here and do this. But maybe I'll kind of wrap it up. Sometimes you got to have the short calls. That's okay. Showing up's better than nothing at all, right? So all right, very good. I think I'll wrap it up here and make sure, see if I can get my internet working, and then oh, it is working better for you, Jody. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. It's like I said, I saw the people working on stuff, and then I got home and it wasn't working. And it's funny too because I went to a coffee shop this morning. The internet wasn't working there either. So it's like I'm having struggles all over the place with the internet, but that happens. It is funny when that goes on. That was like the Joe Rogan skit where he's like, when the power goes out, what do? You just sit there, wait for it to go on. I'm joking. There's some things I can do without internet, but when I'm in my work mode, it is hard to shift gears all of a sudden when there's no internet. So anyways, yeah. What's up, Connie? Yeah. Happy Friday. I know I love Fridays, and it's so beautiful out. It's like 60 degrees. Oh, it's really nice. I'm looking forward to going out in a couple hours. Nice job, Astrid. Yeah, Pavlov's dog on the bike. Yeah, so Astrid, she links up, and I know a number of people do this. They let me know that when they're listening to the podcast, they'll go for a walk, or they'll get on the treadmill, or they'll get on their exercise bike. Smart move. It's really smart to kind of stack habits together, and that's a good strategy in general. But especially if you're listening to what I'm saying, if you associate, thinking the way you're thinking when you're listening to me to doing something active, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be an exercise thing. It could be cleaning your house. It could be preparing food. It could be whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Walk and gym. I know that's another program I got on the back of my mind. The docket there is Walk Yourself Thin, where I think about that, like specific walking hypnosis sessions built for walking that are, feeding your brain too. I mean, the podcast is a lot of that, but I think the thing with the podcast is a more, it's less like traditional hypnosis. I'm using more conversational hypnotic techniques during the podcast. But the Walking Yourself Then I think of as being a more intentional hypnosis. And it's cool too, because, sometimes even people in the program will call them meditations. There is a very fine line between meditations and hypnosis. And especially if you're talking about guided meditation or hypnosis, to me, those they're the same thing. I think of meditation personally as me silent, like I'm not listening to anything. I think of listening to sessions more as kind of like a guided meditation or hypnosis. And I think of meditation as being a nonverbal thing, but that's me. But yeah, I think about the walk and hypnosis. So it's because there is meditations too. There's walking meditations is a whole technique that they teach, not just sitting meditation. And it's pretty cool. It's different, but it's similar. And so things like that are fun. So yeah, maybe at some point. Oh, Diva's on the bike too. That's awesome. Yeah. It's great to be on the bike. Yeah. If you associate all that stuff together when you hear me and listen to me, I think that's a smart move for sure. And again, stack things up. The secret, I will tell you, like one of the big secrets is, in terms of habit stacking, which is a great strategy. But if we think about why it's a great strategy, it reveals the power of your subconscious mind and how your subconscious mind works. because we tend to, as humans, think about behavior change as a willpower driven activity. Like, okay, I want to ride my bike now. And so we think, I'm going to remember to ride my bike. I'm going to start riding my bike this week, right? We say, and we have this vague idea. We know what it means to get on a bike and ride it. We've done that before. But what most people are really missing from the equation of changing their behavior is the recognition that we're primarily on autopilot, that we're not consciously thinking things constantly about what we're going to do. Most of the behaviors we do, most of the things we think, most of the things we feel, we're just running on autopilot. We're looping through thoughts, feelings, behaviors we've done before, and we're just doing them on autopilot. And so this idea that people have that they're going to consciously take control and influence their behavior really reveals a lack of understanding of how your mind works. And you know this when it's pointed out, you can see this, that basically, your day, depending on whether it's a work day or an off day, is you kind of know what to expect. It has a certain flow to it. There's a part of our brain called procedural memory. We would kind of do this, then this, then this, and this, and this. So that's how our brain works. And we do that because it conserves energy. So when it comes to habit stacking and understanding habits, what we're looking to do is understand that there are environmental cues and triggers and anchors that trigger our behavior a lot. And a good example of this is brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth a couple times a day at least, and you do it pretty much on autopilot, and you do it at the same times a day. And so it's not that you're remembering to do it as much as it is you've kind of trained yourself to do it at these times. And understanding that distinction is really important, because then when you go about seeking to lose weight, you realize it takes behavioral change. But instead of thinking that you're going to micromanage every little food choice you make, every exercise you do, you start to link together. Because that's how the subconscious mind works. It associates, and the logical mind can rationalize and understand things. So I'm going to ride my bike more, and when you have an idea when you're going to do it, where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, but you don't have the association to when. So, for example, there's a big difference in saying, "Oh, I'm going to start riding my bike this week." Good luck. Compared to, this week I'm going to start riding my bike at 7 a.m. I'm going to get up, a half hour earlier. I'm going to do my normal routine. Then I'm going to get on my bike. I'm going to ride for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to make my breakfast and go to work. I would put all my money behind that person's plan, right? You see why? Because it's way more specific. There's a lot more detail in there, and that sets you up for success. And then you go to work and anchor that together. Oh, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I go for a bike ride. 7 o'clock, I go for a bike ride. 7 o'clock, I go for a bike ride. And you start to anchor that in. And again, it takes a little bit of training, but now you're working with your subconscious mind. This is the difference between programming yourself and thinking, oh yeah, I want to ride. You watch a video on how important and helpful it is to ride a bike, and you say, oh yeah, I'm going to start riding my bike this week. Yeah, you're not, because you're never going to remember it. That's the biggest problem. We were talking about that last night in a coaching call, that even when you want to lose weight, and it's your eating behaviors, your lifestyle behaviors, your habits, your routines, most dieters think, oh, because I know eating less, eating healthy, or exercising is good for me, because I know that, now I should do it. And that's such bullshit. That's not how you work. You can know it's good for you, but then there's the process of installing the behavior so that you begin to do it automatically. And dieters never think that way, because they think willpower is the whole story. And I'm just going to force myself to ride my bike now. But you got no granular plan. You have no granular strategy. You have no eye towards how to install it into your subconscious mind, so it just runs automatically. You just think you're just going to, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, remember, I want to ride my bike. I haven't ridden my bike in 10 years, but because I watched a video, now it's really important to me, I'm just going to start riding my bike. No, you're not. And it's the same thing with the dieting, where it's like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to stop eating carbs. Tomorrow I'm going to eat 1,200 calories. No, you're not, because you're going to forget. You know what I mean? You have to work to develop that mindset, and you have to do it a piece at a time. That's the only thing I've ever seen work. But anyways, besides this, thanks for the daily reinforcement. You're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, and for people in the program, I apologize, because even today I woke up when the internet was working, and I had like 4 or 5 support tickets, because I deliver the program through an app, and the app wasn't working. And I'm like, oh man. So it's been a technical, was there solar flares last night or something? I don't know what's going on, because there's like global technical issues in my world, but I apologize to everyone for that. And I'm trying to fix it. And so hopefully that'll get fixed. But remember, anyone in my program, remember, you can always go to the membership site. That does work, is working. Fingers crossed. And you can go in there. So the app is kind of a redundant piece of the puzzle. It's there to kind of notify you on your phone and kind of bring it right to your phone. But basically, it's a linking back to the membership site. So you're getting those same links and emails in your email as well. Okay, so go to your email when if the app's never working for whatever reason, you can go to your email and the same link will be there that day. Click that and that'll bring you to the membership site. And that works well. And the app usually works too, by the way. It's so funny. We had like 3 or 4 people just join the program this morning. And of course, right, the second they joined, the app was down. So I feel bad, but that's really unusual. The app is pretty rock solid. I've been using that app for a couple of years now, and it's really good. What's up, Don? Friday. Yep. Pleasure day. Going to a Pakistan restaurant. Okay. I've never had Pakistani food. So yeah, that's interesting. My brother, it's funny. My brother loves eating different foods, and we went to DC, and he's like, "Oh, you should go to this Ethiopian restaurant," and it looked cool. Like I was kind of for it, but I don't know. When you got kids, they're not quite as adventurous, so we kind of went with the safer stuff that they wanted to do. But yeah, Pakistan. I eaten different types of food. I'll tell you one food I really liked that I'd had a few years ago at a farmer's market was Malian food. That was really good. They there's a school up maybe a half hour away from me. It's like an international school. And it's pretty cool because when they do the farmers market, they get like all like really different cultures. So Malian food, it was a woman from Mali, and that was unique. So that's cool. Yeah, enjoy that. I want to hear how that is. Erica says Atomic Habits was super helpful for me, and installing and stacking habits like you're talking about. Yeah, Atomic Habits is great. Big fan of James Clear. I think he's great and deserves all the success he's getting because that guy's right on the money. I'm a big fan. I use some of that stuff. I'll tell you another one though, Erica, that you might like. And to be honest, I like it. Well, I like them both. I like both of them. It just went out of my head. The Power of Habits, Charles Duhigg, Duhigg. That's another great habit book. I use what he talks about in that book in the training. Understanding habit loops. Understanding habit loops is really, really helpful. And I forget if James Clear goes through that, but I use the concept of habit loops in the program so that you can understand it because, again, it's the neuroscience of habits. And when you understand the neuroscience of habits, what an advantage. Because, again, you think of, you think how most people approach habits. And once again, it comes back to what I was just talking about, that they think they're just going to override all their habits and control their habits with their willpower. You're not. Your willpower comes from your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is about 10% of your brain. The rest of your brain is the other 90%. It's going to run. That's what's running your weight, your behaviors, your thoughts, your feelings, all the rest of it. So having a deeper understanding of habits to me has been crucial because now it allows me to be way more strategic. And strategy is important. The diet strategy of just, I'm going to take over everything with willpower is so silly. But you may not realize it. And so you keep trying it. But I'm telling you, it's silly. It's a silly strategy. Yeah, check that one out. You'll like that. I think they all kind of blur together in my head, to be honest. I like James Clear's Atomic Habits. That one, and it was great. And I think it was a little bit more on the simpler side. And I think Charles Duhigg went a little bit more in detail with some of the mind science of it, if you like that sort of thing. And I'm not a scientist by any means, so I was able to understand it. Of course, I do read a lot of that stuff too. I understand it more than I did when I first started reading it. Sunrise 2020. Guess what? I'm finally out of the 200s today. 199.2. Thank you for everything. It's working. I'm so proud of you. That is such a big deal. I had a session. I should find that. I recorded. It was called Journey to Wonderland, right? Because when you go from 200s to 100, so that's such a big accomplishment. I'm really proud of you for sticking with it and getting there. It's fun. There's certain milestones. I mean, that's a good one, right? There's a good example of conscious subconscious processing. So consciously, it's kind of like you're like, it's just a pound. What's the difference, right? But subconsciously, going from a 2 to a 1, it's new territory. It feels different. And so that's exciting. And so now kind of habituate to that, get used to, start as much as you can kind of normalizing. I'm in the hundreds, that's kind of a big accomplishment. And I know you've worked to make that happen. So that's wonderful. And of course now, because that's the self-image piece, right? So now it's like, you want to start really working on internalizing the identity and the self-image of being in the hundreds. you know what I mean, right? The numbers with the one in front of it, not in the, 90 pounds, right? In the one something pounds. Okay. And yeah, welcome to Wonderland. So great job. Great job. That's such a big deal. And yeah, it feels good. There's some milestones that are great, which by the way, speaking of that, I think for a lot of people, and it always depends how much weight you have to lose, but if you've got more than 40, 50 pounds to lose, and even less than that sometimes, is that what you can do is break up your weight loss goal. I'm a huge fan of that. To be honest, a lot of times in my mind, I'm always thinking in 5-pound increments. I think that's a great way to do it, but breaking the weight loss up into smaller goals is very, very helpful because if you say you want to lose 60 pounds, 60 pounds feels so far away. And so it can be demotivating. And so if you break it down and say, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds, the next 5 pounds, the next 5 pounds, the next five, and you can, you can kind of have mini goals of 5 pounds. You can have kind of the medium range goals of 20-pound chunks perhaps, and then obviously your long-term goal. But I think that makes it a lot more interesting for your mind. Kind of like just like college, right? We don't just have, all the classes, they break it down, freshman, sophomore, and things are broken down. And I think mentally that makes it more palatable to us, to kind of do that. Yeah. Somebody says, haven't been in 100 since my last pregnancy. Wow. What a great job. That's so amazing. Yeah. In 5 years. Wow. That's awesome. I have another client who she just reached her lowest weight she's been at in like 15 years. It's crazy. And the last time she got there, she was doing a really strict, really, really medically supervised strict diet. So it's fascinating for her to be there now doing it this way. It's crazy. That's one of the most, I will tell you, that's one of my most satisfying things is people that have done like medically supervised strict ass diets. And that's the only way they've lost weight. And then they start working with me and they get down to that same weight, but she's done it, she's living life. Do you know what I mean? She's not going to the doctor anymore. She's not eating 700 calories a day. She's not doing ridiculous shit that's unsustainable. Because she's been doing this for a while too. I think she's lost, I think she's 80 pounds, maybe 80, 90 pounds down. But she's been doing it for a little while. So it's slow and steady. And so now getting there, there's a foundation under her. It's not this intense thing that's going to be unsustainable. She's really set up for long-term success, but that's one of my most satisfying things because reaching the goal weight's cool. Like that's always cool, but it's reaching the goal weight in a way that feels sustainable. That is the part that is really like, oh man, it's just something else. Cause again, I know you don't believe this, but I can tell you, I have these conversations every single day that as people approach their goal weight with dieting based approaches when I say diet, I really mean unsustainable approaches. When they approach their diet, their goal weight on a diet, there's a lot of stress and anxiety there because it starts to bring into focus, oh shit, I know how to lose weight. I don't know how to live at this weight. And a lot of people have that stress and anxiety within them. And so it's exciting to see someone who's struggled with their weight their whole life, who came into this process believing the only way they could lose weight is do crazy strict shit to get to a real profound weight loss milestone in a way that's comfortable and they're happy and they feel good and they want to keep going. That's the best part. And I share that with you because again, you have to have more widen your definition of what your goal is. It's not enough to just lose weight. You need to lose weight in a way that's comfortable for you. Dare I say, easy for you, right? The more you start to demand that I don't just want to lose weight, I want to lose in a way that's comfortable for me, easy for me, enjoyable for me. Your brain will go to work on how to make that happen. And if you listen to the things I'm telling you every day, you can do it. And that's the game changer because your dieters are obsessed with just weight loss. And you probably said it yourself. Dieters will be like, oh, I don't give a shit what I got to do. I just want to lose the weight. And they mean it. They don't care. I get people regularly asking, what do you think about water fasts? Well, what do you think? I think they're silly because you can only do it for a little bit of time. And then you got to stop doing it. So you haven't really mastered your weight. You just did this little Band-Aid thing that really in the long run is going to mess you up even more. So again, the weight loss isn't enough. It's how you're doing it, how you feel while you're doing it. And if you start to demand more from your weight loss than just the scale going down, you can make this a completely different process than you've ever imagined. And that's the secret, I think, to getting the results you truly want, is to make it enjoyable, because you can, but a lot of people never assume that. So they just assume it's going to be this shit ass, white knuckle, miserable, depriving, horrible, experience. So anyways, but yeah. Well, all right. I think gotta get moving. I actually do have a lot of work I get caught up on here, because I couldn't work really this morning. It was a slow motion and frustrating, but hopefully everything's speeded back up. So I'm gonna say bid everyone adieu, and hope everyone has a super duper weekend. And thanks for joining me here. I wish you all the best. Here's a question. I need help. I've been on a calorie deficit. I lost some, but now I'm stuck at the same weight. How long you been on a calorie deficit, Kira? And how long you been stuck at the same weight? Let me know those details, and I'll help you out. And well, let me take a moment too before I pop out of here. Is that if you're not in my world, make sure you go to my bio, click the link at the hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made for you, and read the emails I send you. Watch the podcast. Podcast is on all the main platforms. Do one every Monday through Friday, usually around noon. Today was a little late, noon Eastern. By the way, I'm in Eastern time. What else? Yeah, I guess here's another one. Go check me out on Instagram. I better start. I don't know what's gonna happen with TikTok, so I'll be bummed if they get rid of this. But go check me out on Instagram, because I'm on there as well, and I do the lives on there as well. It's been 43 days, and I'm still at 67.4. 43 days at the same weight. Okay, so without knowing a ton of information here, if you went into a calorie deficit and you've maintained that same calorie deficit for 43 days and you haven't lost any weight in 43 days, I think, well, okay, so let me just back up. What I always tell people when they're in a plateau is to treat it as maintenance, meaning that you keep doing the same stuff you've been doing, but you optimize it, make it easier, more enjoyable. So whatever you've changed to go into a calorie deficit, look at those things and work to optimize them, make them more enjoyable and easier for you to do. Okay. And then you maintain, but you've done that. You've kind of maintained the calorie deficit. Now, the reason I say to optimize it is to make it easier and more enjoyable. And I say that first because you might have maintained for the last 43 days and it may be really stressful for you. I don't know how your experience of going into a calorie deficit for the last 43 days has been. I don't know if it's relatively easy for you and you feel good and relaxed and calm, or if it's been white knuckle, frustrating, difficult, stressful. Okay. So I ask that because if it's been really difficult and stressful, then that could be a problem, right? Stress sometimes in the short term can stall out our weight loss. It increases cortisol, creates other kind of biochemical issues, other systemic things. And so it can slow your weight loss down. So that's the first question I'll ask with 43 days, is kind of how it's felt to you. And so, but the next thing, so say it's been pretty relaxed, it's been pretty okay. Okay. So 43 days, it's been all right. Now I would say you probably need to cut a little bit more. And again, I don't know where your calorie deficit is. I don't know what you're eating. So again, without a lot of information, it's a little bit challenging to give you suggestions, but I'm giving you kind of broad ones. So if you've been at 43 days, it's been okay. I would work on, now I would say, where would be the easiest place for me to cut a few more calories out? And I would cut not a ton of calories out, but I would look to cut some more calories out in the easiest way possible for you. And then I would cut those down and then see if that triggers the weight loss. But the two big things I'm looking for when I go into a plateau, I'm looking at kind of my stress levels, my lifestyle. So in Program Yourself Thin, we go through the lifestyle habits, 8 of them in order of importance: proper sleep, proper hydration, relaxation, proper breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. These things, when you start to weave them in, tend to have a very positive impact and effect on your weight loss. So I would want to add these in as well. That being said, again, it all comes down to calories ultimately. So if you have been at 43 days, feeling pretty good, calorie deficit, not losing weight, I would then look at what I've been typically eating and say, where can I cut some more calories out and see if that triggers more weight loss? So that's kind of the short answer to that question. What's up, Karen? How's it going? Oh, okay. Yeah. Karen says, I started working out in those 43 days, didn't mention. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, if you're working out and especially if you're doing resistance training, there's a good chance that the muscle has offset the weight loss piece of it. You know, the muscle weighs more than fat. You might have started building some muscle up, and that could be kind of distorting the weight loss you've achieved. You know, so take that into account. Um, the exercise, again, it depends what kind of exercise you're doing. The exercise could be causing stress. So the exercising could be causing the licensing effect to show up. So you're exercising more, now you're eating more and you don't realize it. So again, 43 days does feel like a lot. And that's a great place to be. So congratulations with that. Okay. It's good that you kind of been stuck in with it even for 43 days, because now you're in a better place to kind of analyze things. Because if you had told me 2 weeks, I'd say, oh, that's not enough time. So 43 days, that speaks a lot to your persistence, your resilience, your focus, your motivation. So I think all that stuff's great. And that's what I'm saying. That's the other message for you here. Great job. And so don't let the weight loss be the prime indicator of how you feel about yourself, Kira, because what you've done behaviorally, your process of, improving your reading, working out more, it sounds like you're improving your lifestyle. Those things are absolutely true. You did them. Great job. And now let's build on those. The weight loss will happen. I promise you. You can master your weight. But the big mistake a lot of people make is they make what they're doing conditional on if the weight goes down. Right? So, okay, I'll go in a calorie deficit. I'll work out, but that weight better go down. And as soon as the weight doesn't go down, we just kind of quit and give up. Don't get rid of that mindset. This is the sort of thing like, great, you did the hardest part is getting started. So you're in it now. And so now enjoy it and now optimize it. You're really in the optimization phase already, meaning not just cut. How miserable can I be? How fast can I lose it? No. How can I make this easier, more enjoyable so I can do this long term? You've done the hardest part. And so now keep building on what you've done to succeed and keep optimizing it. And also take into account, again, a new distinction, the working out. I don't know how that's going to affect me. In the short term, you don't know. What are you eating? My dog here. This dog is a pain in the ass. So anyways, keep those things in mind here. How does stress affect it? Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, you're welcome. Stress has all kinds of effects on it, from biochemical, you create an hormonal, you increase your cortisol levels, and that can cause your body to hold on to weight for the short term because it's a stress response. And that's one way. And then mentally, it can wreak havoc because it can kind of ruin our awareness. And one of the big things about stress is really just weight loss in general is our awareness is low. People tend to think they're very aware of what they do. You're not. And so developing awareness is a huge part of the Program Yourself Thin approach to mastering your weight. But when you're stressed, it is so easy to eat more than you think you're eating. And I'll just say that. And I know you don't believe it. I know you think you're tracking everything, but tracking is always a guesstimate. And the more stressed you are, the less effective you are at tracking your eating. It's kind of like, you know what it's like? It's like driving. If you're driving and it's like you're in a pissed off, or you're late, right? So let's just say you're driving somewhere and you're kind of pissed off and you're late and you're anxious. You're probably going to be driving faster than you think you are. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just going faster because everything's kind of going that way, and everything's relative. So the more stressed we are, you think you're tracking everything, but come on, tracking's not like an exact science. You're not tracking exactly 100% every day, no matter what. Your tracking is going to depend on your mood and your energy levels and your awareness levels. And the more stressed you are, because think about it, right? Take you at your most stressed and take you at your most relaxed and calm. Which one do you think is going to track better? There's going to be a difference. And obviously the stress is going to, now you don't believe it, but I promise you, it does affect it. So stress has all kinds of impacts on your weight, negative ones, which is, again, that's another huge part of Program Yourself Thin is the relaxation piece. Really like Program Yourself Thin, you steep yourself in relaxation and calm, because that makes it so much easier to lose weight. And then the other piece of stress, on top of the fact that it can increase cortisol levels and cause your body to hold on to weight, it reduces your ability to really be aware of what you're eating and you're tracking and how accurate it is. And then third is it drives hunger. It tends to make, it can. Stress affects people differently, but very often stress will cause stress eating. You'll be hungrier. You'll want to, eat more food, and then you got to fight against that. So all those three things together, and there's more things than that, none of those things support you. They all make it harder. Yeah. Yes, it happens today. Actually, I had 2,000. I'm in more of a deficit. My maintenance is 2,300. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. So again, dieters don't do this, but if you honor your relaxation, your calm, you're feeling a peacefulness. If you make that a focus, I guarantee you'll have an easier time losing weight, because that's one of those things that helps you like in an exponential way. You get numerous benefits from focusing on relaxation. There's a number of them: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual ones, all things that support you. So it's a great thing to focus on. Sunita says, how fast should you lose weight sustainably? It just depends. I mean, everyone loses weight at different rates. So I couldn't give you like a straight answer. It's just dependent on you, so it's like, how fast can you lose weight sustainably? And that's up to you. It just depends for different people. So that's up for you to decide. And it's based on what you can do. Like again, cleaning up your eating, reducing the calorie consumption, and how comfortable it is for you. And then noticing how much weight that loss that creates. And so, what I mean, so you have to kind of look at it that way. When I do this here, this feels okay. So it's like you're doing your normal thing. That's easy. You're just coasting. You say, okay, I'm going to clean up my eating by 25%. Okay. That's kind of easy. 50%. Okay. This is kind of hard. 75 is really hard. So sustainable is related to that. And then whatever, I'll clean it up 25%. Well, you'll lose this much weight. I'm going to 50%. This is hard though. Well, you'll lose this much weight. So you see what I'm saying? It's something you yourself have to kind of look at what you're doing and the results you're getting and figure that out for yourself, because you're the only one that knows how sustainable something is. How easy is it for you? How kind of automatic could you turn this out to be? And what are the weight loss results you're achieving from that? So I think if you look at things that way, you'll be able to see your own, you'll create your own answer to that question, which is the only answer that matters, So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much again. You're all awesome, and have a super duper weekend. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye.